this. This is so good. How are we doing, everyone? This is the another episode of Three Grandmas Yap. We have our good friend Lance from Saints on the show. How you doing, Lance?
It is so good to be here. I'm very excited.
He's not my friend.
This has been a long time coming. Long time coming. Friend of the show, this is how we all met, is this guy right here. This is how I met Time. This is how I met Pragpro, because of him. Mm-hmm. Someone is echoing. We need to fix
you met all of us because of me. Not because of him. You would have still met nobody if it was up to him.
You know, he was
introducing everyone to everyone.
Okay. Let's not get into the weeds with this.
Give a fuck? You think I'm going to button up because you want me to be polite for him? I'm not going to be polite.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
All right, continue.
Lance,
cultural appropriation.
I'm sorry.
Lance, who are you? Who's this guy?
I don't know what podcast is this.
Tell us about the board games and the movie and everything. Start at the beginning. Start in fucking Brockton.
I'll say this because I don't want to bore people. Okay, we have a movie to talk about.
Nobody's watching this show.
I'll say, yeah. I don't want to bore you guys, you three who are talking with me.
Too late.
I am probably what you would consider, I don't know, a failed entertainment mogul. I've tried to make movies. I've tried to make board games. I've tried desperately to have my little hands, my little fingies in lots of different pockets of the entertainment industry. And it hasn't branched out thus far. My latest endeavor has been live streaming. I've been doing that for a couple of years. And,
and it's never going to end.
Yeah, I don't know that. Now. That just might go until the day I die. I'm not really sure. So here I am with three people that I met because of the streaming endeavor I took. And yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a hell of a movie to talk about. I can't wait to see everybody's opinion on this.
And you're glad you met us. Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, it's not. I mean, we're getting like way.
That's
out
neither
of
here nor there, JC. I don't give a fuck if he's happy to be here as long as he's here.
Three of us, please rank us.
Here's another thing. Check it out. Okay. I need you here on the 21st of December. Because we need to fill in a spot for beautiful Diamond Des who can't make it. You're available to do that show as well, maybe.
She pulled out, unfortunately, for personal reasons.
Don't worry about it. That's neither here nor there.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Think about it.
Welcome to the chat, Captain Buttwipe. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello.
What movie are we talking about, Lance? Like we've had you booked out for like 4 months now. Like it's been a long time coming.
Which is insane.
What was your reaction when we invited you to come on in December and May? We asked you in May or something, right?
I thought that was absurd. I mean, who does that? That's absolutely insane.
Popular streams.
Why would you even
popular streams?
I mean, you have to wait to get on the Rogan show too, right? You can't just pop on.
Do you actually? I feel like they don't. They might book them like within I don't think they do it months out. I really don't.
So you must have picked a big boy movie, like all this time to think about.
He was supposed to pick a Christmas
professional director.
He did have
like
to
this guy?
pick a Christmas movie. That's right.
Yeah,
right. He couldn't pick The Mummy because it was Christmas.
I could have, yeah.
And Christmas is his favorite time of the year. Is that correct?
Favorite time of the year. So
you're making it.
That is also correct. That is correct.
Was it your idea, or did Prague strong arm you into doing
that? That is.
It was Bagger's idea, and then Bagger got me on, and then we both said we need Lance, and then we became a trilogy, a thruple, a directing thruple.
Correct.
And guess what? I just got news, Lance. Elvis has his VOD in the bank, so we're
nice.
Oh, you love to hear. We got Elvis back. We took him out of the grave. We dug him up.
Yep, 2025 comeback. Don't call it a comeback.
Well, if only he knew he was performing on Twitch, he'd be like, "What the?"
I mean, he doesn't know what it is.
Exactly. That's my, he'd be lost. Times have changed.
Ted Demme. What is your relationship to the director Ted Demme? The director of tonight's film, The Ref.
He's picked.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
We always talk about the director.
Well, that's we haven't even talked about it. Hold on. I was building up to it, Prag.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. We're still doing more exposition.
I was doing a bit.
Please continue.
I just realized
you're doing a bit. I'm sorry.
JC has reindeer. I didn't see that. The little
right.
I didn't see that.
We should have done a scene.
Why is
from
nobody else
tonight.
festive? Why is no one else festive?
I'm wearing my charcoal fucking t-shirt. What do you mean?
Give me a break. Give me a charcoal.
That's what Santa gives.
I even wore Blockbuster.
Give me a break.
Just for Lance. Just for Lance.
That's actually that's pretty nice.
You're dressed like a Hallmark Hall of Fame film, Lance, and you're broadcasting from a Hallmark store in a haunted mall.
It's beautiful.
Come on.
It's beautiful.
You should have invited Elvis to perform there. It would have been beautiful, but no, you would have.
Yeah, would have. I don't
fly him into town.
Also, who just put? Why does it say huge Kevin Spacey fan under me?
Because you are. Because that's what you told us.
Can we just, before we even get into the movie, can we just like tackle that elephant in the room before we even start?
Well, so this movie does have Kevin Spacey in it.
That's what got him in trouble. Mm-hmm. Tackling the elephant.
Trigger alert, Kevin Spacey.
I thought he was uncanceled. What is the status of Kevin Spacey? So we know how to.
He's
still canceled.
Are you crazy?
I don't know. Listen, I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep up.
He was accused of some heinous things.
Because he came back. All of a sudden, I saw him back on TV, and I'm like, they're like,
he's putting himself on TV.
Dude, he's hanging out with Republicans and
no.
supporting RFK Jr. What are you talking about?
He's hanging out with RFK.
It all came out to
It's a fucking upside down Camelot.
So, what is the avant-garde masterpiece that you picked for this week, Lance from Saints?
Look, okay, I'm going to preface any discussion we have about this film by saying I'm very nostalgic for this movie. Okay, I don't think it's a fantastic film. I do think it's a very different Christmas movie. It's not one where it's like all about the holiday spirit and whatnot. It's a character study, and I think it's very well written, and I enjoy it. I think the characters are funny. I laugh during it. So it's a movie I watch every year. I usually actually watch it during Thanksgiving because there's not many Thanksgiving movies, and it's about them having a meal and
And this is not one of them. This is not.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a great, but it's a nostalgic film for me. So that's why I picked it. It's a movie also I never hear anybody talk about. I feel like nobody discusses this film. So I'm like, you know what? This is perfect. This is a perfect opportunity.
Is there a reason for that?
All right, we're not going to start in. Can we talk about the director? Let's take this movie apart.
No, we can't.
Okay.
Oh, God damn it. Tell me no when I'm drop in here.
I have a question, and it might be borderline offensive to you, Lance, but it's coming from a good place. It's coming from my heart. This movie, the subject material, is it a little personal to you?
Is it personal to me? I mean, I think everybody has a dysfunctional family.
So my parents act like this. I mean, they hate each other. They didn't act like this.
I mean, come on.
They didn't bicker?
No, they didn't bicker.
God, that's an East Coast thing. This is an East Coast thing that couples do, and it's so heinous and horrific, right? This is an East Coast vibe, and you sit in the car, and then you're just like, hey, you used to do this over here, and then you forgot the salami, and it goes on for all day. It's terrible.
Yeah. When you forget the salami, oh my God!
Don't leave the salami on the counter. Don't forget it.
But the director of this is Ted Demme, who
Demme.
Or Demme. Is it Demme? Ted Demme?
I think so, like Jonathan Demme.
Yo, that's what I was about to say. He is the older or younger brother of the much more famous Jonathan Demme, who made Silence of the Lambs, Manchurian Candidate, lots of classics, and obviously,
well,
you want to hear something crazy?
Time to cook.
I have a fun Ted Demme.
You have
fact.
time to cook?
He died very young. What did he die? 39?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Did you know that the movie Punch Drunk Love, written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, is dedicated to Ted Demme?
I didn't know that.
And that he directed one of the great comedy movies of all time, which I wish we watched this week, called Life, with Eddie Murphy. You guys remember that one? The prison lockup one? That's a banger. That's a funny one. And he also directed Blow. Most of the other stuff is just kind of like Yo MTV Raps. He directed episodes of that. And there's like Monument Avenue.
Well, he worked
a couple
with Dennis
episodes
Leary
here and there.
a lot. He was a big Dennis Leary guy.
Dennis
he always did all his specials.
And
that's actually why the reason the director got this job is because of Dennis Leary. Dennis Leary liked the script, and so he took it on, and then he said, I want Ted as my director. He's the only one I trust.
So he's fucking Dennis Leary is what you're telling me.
So they do, yes, they are together. They're actually together.
Yes. They're actually living
Did he
together.
direct that Rescue Me, which was my favorite Dennis Leary project, the show about the firefighters? Was he involved in that project? Because that was a great show.
That was a good show. I don't think so. Actually, no, because like I said, he died young. I think Rescue Me was after he died.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was already dead at that point.
My favorite Dennis Leary project is He's an Asshole, He's an Asshole. Do you know that song? The Dennis Leary song, Asshole?
I know
Brilliant.
That song. It's
Absolute
from the
banger. It's a banger.
They played it a lot. See, I think they played it to death. No, but when I was in my 20s, I was really big into Dennis Leary for sure.
I bet you were into the Weasel. That's what you were into in the 90s. You were a big Pauly Shore.
Dweez.
love Pauly.
No, I didn't
Biodome?
like
Man,
Pauly Shore at all.
Biodome is
Oh
awesome.
my
Very
You're a big
annoying.
Pauly head.
I like Randy
My
of the
God.
Redwoods. Do you remember on MTV they had a Randy of the Redwoods character that was around during the Weasels? See, you guys don't
no
remember.
idea what you're talking
See,
about right now.
and back in '96 when they were fighting for supremacy on the air, Dennis Leary had a moment and he had that song and it was on the real radio and he was very popular. Very popular.
Yeah, he was. He also made a movie. A lot of people don't like this movie, but I actually like it. Again, very nostalgic. I watch it every year. Judgment Night. I don't know if anybody's seen that. That was
Great
one of his
soundtrack.
first movies.
No,
Wonderful
Yeah.
never heard of
soundtrack.
It
it.
did have a good
That
soundtrack.
has all the metal hip hop crossover acts for the first time, right? There's like a Public Enemy, Pearl Jam
Emilio
jam on there or something.
Estevez. You
pretty
got
cool.
Jeremy Piven, Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba, another one who's,
You know what
he's
Jeremy
Mhm.
Piven was in? Dog Police.
Jeremy Piven's canceled. Actually, I'm thinking that whole fucking cast is canceled.
Is
Jesus
Piven
Christ.
cancelled? What happened to
Well,
him?
he's got a lot of allegations against him.
Okay. Oh no.
Do you want to go
So
over them?
I mean, we don't have time.
Joking.
I want to get
I'm
into
just
Ted
joking, I don't
Demme's
want
head.
to.
I want to know what it feels like to be the brother of the director of one of 3 only films to win all 5 big Oscars. I want to know what that feels like, being that
He's
guy.
dead. You can't.
I
Was
wonder
he
why
alive?
they dedicated
Was he
Punch
alive
Drunk
when-
Love to him.
Was he alive when Silence of the Lambs came out?
Yeah, he was alive
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. So my question still stands. But also, Punch Drunk Love is one of the greatest romance films of all time.
Banger.
He must
Maybe
be
he was working on it in
softie.
some context before he died or something, or maybe he helped write him, or maybe he came up in film school with Paul Thomas Anderson and their
Maybe
buddies.
PTA
I
and
don't
him
know.
were just good friends.
Yeah.
So I want to get into it. Lance, where does this film come from you? Like, when did you first see it?
Yeah, what's your connection?
It's funny. A lot of movies I can remember exactly where I saw it first, or at least I have like a very clear connection to it. Like Pretty Woman, every year I watch it when I put up my Christmas tree. And the reason I watch Pretty Woman is because I remember
I
watching
hate that
it
movie.
when I was a kid with my mother, and we were putting the Christmas tree up, and it just happened to be on the TV that night. And now
Can't
every
stand
time
that
I put up the
movie.
tree, I associate Pretty Woman with putting up the Christmas tree. So I do that.
Prostitution.
Do you hate it every time?
No. I've
Ugh.
grown to love it. I want to do a
Okay.
remake. I've talked about this before. I want to do a remake called Pretty Man, where I play like a street hooker, and it's like a business. It's a business
Gigolo.
You're
woman,
playing
a
yourself.
business woman who takes me on, and then I want to do like a whole.
We'll just make it a
reverse-
sequel.
This
Pretty
is
Woman
the
wanna
Jimmy
do Pretty
Doyle
Man.
prequel.
I want to
This
do
is the
Pretty
Jimmy
Man
Doyle
so bad.
prequel.
It's
Pretty Man.
I would love to work
I
with
just
you
I
on
need to
that.
gotta get a bigger budget.
Sounds
But
great.
anyway, my
We'll
point
get
is
Janifest on that.
because usually I have a clear connection. This one, I don't really have a memory. I just remember seeing it, and I don't know. It was probably like 6-7 years ago. I felt like buying it on DVD because I hadn't seen it in a while, and I remembered seeing it as a kid. And since then, it's just become a yearly
They
tradition.
didn't give it to you for free? You had
No,
to
they
buy
didn't.
it?
I had to.
You
I
should
had
be
to
able to
buy
get that
it.
for like 10 for $1. It should have been.
I don't even think it's on Blu-ray either. It's one of those like you can't buy it DVDs. It's tough. It's not out
You
there.
know what?
This
This is a type of film they used to call a romp in the 70s, right? It's a chaotic romp, right? And it used to be like Jimmy Stewart would be in it, and there'd be like, some MGM starlets, and they'd be running around, slipping on bananas and falling over. And I like the
like
spirit
Home
of this
Alone.
movie. Pardon me?
Like Home Alone.
Like Home Alone, exactly. And I like a lot of the acting in this movie, and I like the way it was shot, and I like the setups and stuff. But where it falls is the joke writing. It doesn't hit me.
Okay, Lance, I'm gonna throw you a bone because I've kind of been playing this whole time. This movie's fucking fantastic, and I
Okay.
loved it. I loved every
Okay.
second of it, and I thought.
Okay.
I
I
think
feel dizzy
it
right now,
should've-
Time.
it should have been. It should have
Is
been.
this how you feel?
Like right now, this is how I feel. Right now, this should be like a household name Christmas classic. The only reason it's not is because it's called The Fucking Ref. Who
Yeah, I do
named
think
this
that's
movie?
a bad name. Yeah,
Who
that is
named
a
this
bad
movie?
name.
The Referee would have been better. The Christmas Thief. Anything.
The lady who wrote
other
it,
than the
it was
ref.
written by a single writer. Let's talk about
If-
this. Right? Let me find out who wrote this one.
Well,
Because it feels to me like someone was too stubborn and wouldn't let go of this title for some reason.
as far as I
Judy
know,
Davis ruined the show for me.
Judy Davis. You didn't like
No.
Judy Davis?
I didn't like the way
She's
she acted.
fantastic in
I
this
felt like
movie.
she was pressing too much, and she was just like pushing up against me, and I'm like,
That is
calm down.
unbelievable. No.
And she was at the top of her game. I think it was the year before she won Best Supporting Actress. It was.
I know. I've seen her in other things where she's great, but in this
she's
one,
fantastic in this.
Yeah,
she nailed it in this.
She's a cutie.
I think everyone else, like, I don't know what Time's going to say about this movie. He hasn't stated his opinion. He never does. But
well, you know what? We'll get to that. Listen, it's a full hour show, right?
But yeah, genuinely, I thought this film was fantastic, and it should be a Christmas classic. I'll probably watch it again next year. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the
what
writing.
What made you laugh, JC? What were the funny scenes? Let's go through the ones.
Nearly every single line. Like when the kid at the table is like, "I hope they fight again." Their fights are bitchin'. I was like, "This is great. I love this." I loved every single scene with Raymond J. Barry as the.
I like that guy.
As the.
Didn't he call a dog?
Cop?
The F word?
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yes.
That was the most
That made me
shocking
laugh.
language in the film.
Again,
he's not a good guy.
It's 1994.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm not against it. I'm just saying that was interesting.
That whole sequence where they record over the evidence over the video of Dennis Leary was so good. I just loved everything. I loved and I'm not a Kevin Spacey fan, but I thought he was great in this film. Single line of his he delivered perfectly. It made me laugh. I thought it was hilarious.
I like Kevin Spacey in this, but he's a
Dennis
banger.
Leary,
he's an Oscar-winning. Like he's always gonna land.
He's a banger. That's right. You nailed that, Bragg.
I'm talking about performance-wise. I'm talking about on film. Listen, Kevin Spacey is known as a great actor. Like he's won a couple Oscars, hasn't he? For supporting, at least.
Not anymore. Have you seen the video that Lance played the other night? He's terrible now. He's awful. I think he just worked with really good directors.
In his heyday, he had a lot of great films, right?
So what do you how do you actually feel about this film, Lance? Like, I've now thrown you a bone. I mean, at the start, you were like, like, it's not a great movie, but...
He was mewling like a kitten trapped under the stairs.
Great. So I want to know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the writing is very well done. I think that the characters are funny. It is a character study. I can understand why people don't like this movie. There's no action. There's no big scenes. There's all the big scenes.
There's a lot of action.
Well, yeah, the big scenes are conversations. They're arguments. There's stuff like that. And a lot of people get turned off by that. I get that.
It's very mean.
That's
a very
not my
mean
problem
movie.
with this movie. I like.
I'm sure it's not your problem. I'm saying that's probably a lot of people's problems, though.
Yeah.
I was on board in the first scene when he's a cat burglar and he gets into the safe and there's the slip and fall and there's the whole thing with the slide. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a romp and it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be slapstick galore and they're going to rescue me with some funny lines and stuff. But I found the relationship between Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis to be as cloying and annoying as they wanted it to be. Right? Completely. Because you're not meant to be, because they're just bickering, but they're really not landing any funny jabs.
That's so wrong. That's so wrong. But like every single line, I feel like has a history to it. Like every single thing they say, it's like there's something new that you learn later in the film.
There is good depth to their relationship.
And this script was written over the course of a year. It was over a year of writing. And they revised it and revised it and revised it. And it was so there.
She only wrote 2 movies. Another Christmas movie and this one. There's only 2 on her credits.
Her brother-in-law was an Academy Award-winning screenwriter. He revised it with her multiple times. He actually had a huge hand in writing this. So it wasn't just her. Yeah.
Then why isn't he in the fucking
credits?
Explains
how good it is? Yeah, I agree. And I
we should watch a clip from it just to illustrate the unfunniness of it, so everyone can see.
Are you kidding? There's that moment where he's on the phone with and he's just smacking the phone.
You know who that guy
table.
is, right? He's from The Godfather, the guy who plays his buddy.
He's a big Roger Corman guy too. I think he's in all the Roger Corman movies, like back in the.
Isn't he Fredo? Isn't that the actor who plays Fredo in The Godfather, who plays his buddy, the drunk, down and out guy who's trying to steal the boat for him?
No, Fredo's. I thought Fredo was the one that the actor that died in every single film he was in. Was a Best Picture winner. Like
I thought that was too. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I can't remember
who that guy is. He's a famous character actor. I'll look it up.
He is. I think he's been in like 50 Roger Corman movies or something.
Yeah. But he's great in this. He's so funny. I love that scene where he picks up the phone. He's like, "Is Murray there?" And then Murray says hello, and he's just like,
"Yeah, that's a classic."
Back.
Yeah, no, I think he's great.
You laugh.
Are you kidding? You broke it?
Because it's like I want to laugh, JC. I am a very giving laugher. If you at least get close to the fucking spot, or at least I know where you're trying to go, I'm going to give you a good laugh. And I was sitting down ready to laugh at this.
I was laughing
and
nearly
I was like,
every scene in this movie. Like, nearly every scene. Except for when it got serious. And I think that's where this
and then
film
you
really
brought the whole
shines.
storyline with the
drama
kid.
is great. Yeah, great. I thought it was fantastic. I love the little
So
storyline
the
that
guy
he's selling.
who kidnaps the family has a fucking heart-to-heart scene with the kid.
Yes.
And then later in the film, they're like, "This is our friend. We have to help him escape."
So,
and he's
all
like,
right, so
pistol with
so
his.
well
Just to
written.
clarify on that, though. So
That's
if you look into the history of that movie, because I actually agree with you with that, I didn't like it. They had a whole different ending to that, where Gus got arrested, and the Christmas lesson was the kid learned that life of crime would lead you to prison. That was the original ending, and the test audiences hated it, so they reshot it quickly, where he just got to get away, and that was what they went with. So they had a whole other ending. And Dennis Leary has talked about it like years later that he regrets that they refilmed it, but the studio pushed it.
I didn't
if
hate
you
it.
kidnap your family on Christmas, I don't care how sweet and
but
handsome the kidnapper is. I'm not going to like help him escape at the end. They bonded.
Dude, like he was the
He
ref.
tied him up.
He brought their marriage back from salvation. Literally, that's what his role was. He was the referee. I guess that's his. Like he. You know,
I mean, I want Spencer Tracy to be in this movie and make it 1948, and then it works.
Fixing their marriage, it was great.
You know, it's like, yeah.
Okay,
what about this guy? What does he think? He hasn't said a word. He's on the show,
what is
right?
going on here? I mean, what are you?
What?
How you
I want to hear from him.
Get your thoughts out. You know.
All right, everyone be quiet. Everyone be quiet. Everyone be quiet.
Don't put that pressure on me now.
No pressure. I mean, what's the vibe? How are you feeling about this? Do you like Christine Baranski in it? What do you think?
I don't know what that is. I hate to gang up on you, Prag. I really don't want to make you feel like the odd man out.
Oh, God, you guys are fucking terrible.
So I'm not, because this movie was fucking mid. This was a very dumb movie.
Time. Get out of here,
stupid.
Time.
First of all,
he nailed it.
Get out of here.
The cover of the movie makes no sense because his left leg is way too long. It doesn't make any sense.
Actually, hold on.
Yeah, go show him.
Yeah.
Show him. Doesn't make any sense.
We're not even criticizing the movie.
And what is he doing? Taking a fucking piss on him? I don't get it.
Like this?
And then Kevin Spacey, he's such a mush in this. I can't stand those
all
characters.
All of the marketing
I will,
is wrong.
for this is
movie.
a perfect cover art for your thumbnail for the YouTube video. You got 3 characters right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But we need a 4th one because we need your head on there as well.
Just I don't know. Put me in between.
He
his
looked
legs.
like the kid looked like him when Corey was young from the videos he's shown us from like high school. He kind of looks like the kid a little bit.
I don't know about that. I don't think I agree with that.
I like Kevin Spacey and Dennis Leary's
Of course you do.
Yeah,
chemistry.
I know you do.
I'm a huge Kevin Spacey fan. Yeah, I thought they had a lot of good chemistry. I thought there was some funny jokes. The movie overall wasn't that funny.
It was funny enough.
The kids served no purpose to the movie. They should have just written them out.
What are you talking about?
Ridiculous.
He's trying to play Ferris Bueller, but he's not that slick.
Yeah,
like Ferris Bueller was
stupid.
slick. Like when Ferris Bueller played a character like that, he pulled it off. This kid was not that slick. The actor was not good enough to play a character like that who could defraud a fucking general.
Yeah,
come
and
on.
No, he was great. He was great.
He was smarter than everyone. When Dennis Leary
disagree.
came in and was like, whatever. It's like, oh, you smell like cat piss, which was a reoccurring joke, but that wasn't very funny.
It was great.
That wasn't funny.
Why the
guys
piss?
had no funny bone at all.
Well, hold on.
I'm literally the funniest man on Twitch.
That's not true.
All right. So, what was your question about the piss? Because I almost feel like I had an answer for that. Go ahead. What do you got?
I think he was going to say, where did they come from? Which is very early on in the movie. They established it.
Right. So, now I'm starting to think he just wasn't even watching. He was doing his laundry. He was. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Flame Princess in chat says it took you 3 hours to watch this time. Is this true? Explain that.
So, anyways,
I wanted to love
one of my
this movie
favorite
too. That's why I'm so hurt.
I loved it.
in the movie
I know you did, buddy.
was when they introduced him as a doctor, and like, this is Dr. Wong.
Yes.
He's like,
It was good.
No, JC, that's not funny.
It is great.
He goes, your mom was white or whatever
It's
she
so
says.
good.
And it's like, and your dad? And he goes, wasn't.
Wasn't. And he nailed the line.
Yeah.
It was so good.
So I do want to say that scene on the stairs is probably one of my favorite scenes. I think the grandmother, the mother,
Yeah.
she does a phenomenal job. She is probably one of my favorites. She is
But I
so
feel like I've seen her in
dry
another
and
movie
mean.
and she plays the same
She's good.
part.
She's a classic.
Yeah,
Like,
I
she's
think
probably
she's
been
a
around
classic
for a
actress.
long
She was
time.
great.
She's like a BBC legend, right? Welsh actress.
Yeah, the whole interaction on the stairs. What the hell is the matter with you? Like, she is. I thought she was hilarious. I thought she was
She's
great.
really good. And this feels like a play a lot of the times. This feels like
It's
something
like a
that could have
stage
been
play,
for
yeah.
stage,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so I appreciate that. And that's where you usually have a romp. It's springtime. Maybe you're in Syracuse and you're doing summer stock and you put on The Ref as a summer stock play. And then it's great. And I like the fucking fact that all the actors really went for it and they were into it. And I really liked their performances. And they didn't get, I was interested in all what was going to happen in the frames. And I love the way it was shot. Like, I love
the Christmas
lighting.
lights
I
on
love
the,
how,
on the
like, it was very,
car and
the holiday vibe for me is how they lit the house. It was like very warm lights and it felt very
Yeah.
cozy. This film felt very warm and cozy and approachable. And I just could like chill. It was very chill. And I appreciate how relaxing it was. And it's a good family movie, but you know, I just didn't think the jokes hit. But you know,
man,
They
that's
didn't.
sad. That's sad.
And I
I
also
was
think you
laughing
bring.
consistently through this.
I think you bring up a good point on why I play it every year. Is it is that very like warm setting? I put it on in the background. It's there. Like I feel like I'm in a home with a dysfunctional family over there. You know, they're arguing off to the side. So yeah, again, there's a lot of
I feel
nostalgia
like-
in this for me.
I feel like this film would make for a great double feature with Knives Out. If you guys seen Knives
Yeah.
Out,
Mhm.
do you know that movie's got a very warm feel? It's it's a murder mystery.
I
but,
I
like,
watched that
family...
during Thanksgiving too.
Did you? That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
The way they
Movie.
bicker and banter and stuff, it's very similar to the way they bicker and banter in this.
I liked when they had the monologue when they were really going into the detail about why their relationship was messed up and they're
Falling
going through their whole
apart.
history.
And I really
Time
love when
wants to say
Kevin
something. I'm sorry.
Spacey. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Time.
Go time.
I feel like this movie
talking
fits
to you.
into the same camp as Die Hard, where it takes place during Christmas, but this is not a Christmas movie.
No,
No, Christmas.
no, that
movie.
is so wrong. Oh
That's
my
right.
god,
It's
are you
100%
kidding?
right. It's
This
not a
is
Christmas
Christmas
Well,
movie.
all
because the
over
moral
it.
of the
It's not
story is
Christmas.
that you should try to work things out, I guess, right? What is the moral of this story?
Well, I mean,
no,
it's-
yeah.
What's
go
the
on.
lesson?
so the
Let your
woman
kid
who wrote the
help
script,
the robber escape out the back and like
Yeah,
don't,
that was
let him
the
just wander
woman-
away with
so
him.
stupid.
the woman who wrote the script, the whole idea came to her because of her experiencing this in her real life. She went to a family dinner. Nobody wanted to be there. They were arguing. And she was like, wouldn't it be cool to have a movie where there was like this situation and there was a marriage counselor there? But she was like, that's not going to sell. So who could you do instead of a marriage
Let me
counselor? And
put
they came up
Leary in
with
there.
some, cat burglar
Yeah.
who's stuck there. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, it's a real life. This is what people go through in the holidays. It's people
Yeah,
are.
well, that's why I think it absolutely is a Christmas movie, because it's all about the themes of unpacking the behind the scenes of the happy,
Family.
This is
happy
the real
Christmas
feelings
time.
people have,
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's even like they even include a Santa Claus who just gets drunk on Christmas.
No, I hate that
Again, he's
character.
hilarious. I think
You know
he's
what?
Yeah,
hilarious.
that
A
character's
Christmas
stupid, too.
Story does everything this movie does so much better. They show the bickering,
Disagree.
they show the dysfunction in the family, but it's much better jokes and it's much more interesting and much more intelligent. Like the
Well, I
actors
haven't
are
seen
all
A
super
Christmas
intelligent,
Story,
but the
so-
jokes are not smart because
In
they
this-
leave too much room for the audience to disengage because it breaks realization when you're like, this kid is not as smooth as they want us to believe he is. And like, they would never have like a heart to heart with the robber and stuff. It's just like, they keep pushing you. Like, it's a movie. You have to suspend
I
disbelief, but
believe
at a
the
certain
kid.
extent,
I
they
thought
push
the
it
kid
too
was
much.
super smooth, but okay, whatever you say.
Well, God bless.
What was I going to say? There was something. Oh, yeah. The whole thing Prague was saying. It's like, hey, guys, I know this guy's been running around for the last hour and a half, putting the barrel of a gun against our head, but let's help him out. That's great. Let's do that.
But it's a
That
movie.
doesn't make any sense to
It's
me.
a
Makes
movie.
no sense.
I know,
Makes no
I know
sense.
it
What do
is.
you think?
And to
It's
a certain
cra-
extent.
Makes no
What do you
sense.
You're
think?
right, but you
You're
have to have a better
crazy.
way to get to that point where they forgive him, and just, it seems
if
like
you
there's
wanna
an
see-
instant forgiveness.
If
I
you
don't
want to
see
see a
the-
movie
that's
like
always
that,
just like-
if you want to, if you want to see a movie like that, go watch Michael Haneke's Funny Games. Like, this is a completely
Not
different
funny
beast.
games. You always
It's a
talk about
great
funny
movie.
games.
It was very
It's again, it's
plot
tough. It's
convenient
one of
that
those
they're
things,
just like,
too,
oh yeah,
where-
let's forgive him.
They
Yeah,
didn't.
it was too.
I wish they would
too
release
clean.
a Blu-ray with the alternate ending. That's what I wish, so I
No,
could see what
no,
the
I
original
hope
ending
they
was.
don't.
Okay, you
No,
know what,
I like
Craig?
the
I don't know
ending.
what
I think this is a
He's-
great ending.
he hasn't had his coffee today.
You see me drinking coffee.
I know. I see you guzzling it now. You're all shaky.
You have coffee too.
Yeah, but I've had mine already. I've been
So,
guzzling it
Lance-
for like hours.
Taz says, squat up on Marvel Rivals with me. You gonna take him up on that?
Quadrupon. I don't even have that. What? I don't even know what that is.
So
Is it?
I don't
I
know
know
what it
Marvel
is either.
Snap.
it's
Marvel
Overwatch, but with Marvel characters. That's all it is.
God, I don't play that
sounds like
shit.
shit.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, sounds awful.
So my I know who Dennis Leary is, but
Mhm.
I'm not familiar with him too much.
Mhm.
Was he a stand-up comedian?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was.
And he's
Okay.
very good, and you should watch a couple of his specials in his
Now-
prime, and watch Rescue Me, which is the best way to
Rescue Me
experience
looks so
Dennis.
stupid.
What do you mean? It's not stupid
Dennis
though. I've
Leary-
seen it.
The Dennis
Are
Leary
you
to me
kidding?
seems like
Emmy
a poor
award-winning
man's
show.
No. Hold on. Time out. We have to back up here.
No.
Rescue
Dennis
Me
Leary-
is
Dennis
really
Leary,
good.
It's not good. Dennis Leary seems like a poor
What is
man's,
happening?
a layman's version, a guy who can't connect with an audience version of Dennis Miller. Am I right in that?
No, Dennis
I was
Miller
gonna-
is the worst version of Dennis, but they're not even the
Yeah.
same.
I mean,
Like
I
Dennis
always
Miller's
saw
the other day,
terrible.
and it made me laugh because of like all the stupid fucking jokes that never made any sense.
Dennis Miller's totally different than Dennis Leary because Dennis Miller's all about like high intellectual like constructions
His
and
jokes
like
are so
fancy
crazy.
references,
Yeah.
and then Dennis Leary is more of a everyman kind of
Like
like
Bill Burr.
blue collar Boston
he's
guy.
Like pissed
Remember
off.
when Dennis
I
Miller was
always
on Monday
angry.
Night Football?
I know. I lived through that, and Rush
Was he?
Limbaugh called Monday
Oh my
Night Football.
God.
They did, and it was a disaster. And he said something horrific one evening, and it
course he
lasted
did.
like 3 episodes. He was gone.
Of course he fucking did.
Yeah, I remember those days, boy.
As a kid, I always saw Dennis Leary as a dollar store Kevin Bacon, and I
Ooh.
literally thought Kevin Bacon was in The Amazing Spider-Man when I first saw it. I thought he was Kevin Bacon.
No,
Who's
No,
that
no,
Boston
I was like,
comic
what?
that's
He was
super
the- I was talking
popular
about,
right
yeah.
now?
No, Dennis Leary was. He was the
Louis
cop.
CK.
He was
No, the other one with the bald guy. Who's the bald
Bill
Boston
Burr?
comic?
Bald guy.
Bill Burr. He's Bill Burr.
I love Bill
I
Burr.
just said
Okay,
that.
so
I
that was
fucking
Dennis
just said that.
Leary's act
He's
before
not,
Bill
he's not even
Burr
listening
took
right
it.
now.
No, he's not listening to
Oh,
you.
he's
He had too much pasta earlier.
I think
He's
he's
eating
turned your
pasta.
volume down.
We had
Lance.
spaghetti dinner
The
together,
noodles went
Lance
to
and
his
I,
fucking
earlier.
went to his
We
head.
like to sit down and talk about the week and what we're going to do next week with the mod and how we're going to run his channel. So we always sit down and have dinner on Saturdays.
Also, Dennis Leary was the voice of Diego in Ice Age, which is
Shout
a
out
big role
Diego.
for him.
Oh, that's
Which
true,
also,
yeah.
you
Shout out
guys see they're
Diego.
coming out
That's
with
the
a new
only
one?
movies he's
They got
in
a new
now.
one.
They got a new one, and he's not in the cast. Actually, he was not announced.
Why did Dennis Leary disappear from like movie? Like he only does like voice work now. Like I haven't seen him in anything.
He was
in
in
a long
something
ass
actually
time,
a few
right?
years ago. Another Christmas thing. It was the Moody's Christmas, something like that. And again,
I
it was
think
like
he just got a
dysfunctional
payday
family.
from.
It was like the same story, but I didn't watch it. I didn't see it. But
He
it
was
the
in
same
something
sort of thing.
called. I'd like to ask you about a movie called Operation Dumbo Drop, 1995.
I know what that is, but I haven't seen it.
Operation Dumbo Drop
Bop.
is the exciting
Dumbo
story
Bop.
of dropping a real elephant by a parachute into Vietnam from a C-130. Dennis Leary
Yeah,
was
Ray
in that.
Liotta, right?
Yes. And then he
Yeah.
was also in Wag the Dog in 1997, who was written by David Mamet.
This is also Dennis
Mm.
Leary's second appearance on our podcast.
What was the
Wow.
first
Wait, what
movie
was
he
the
did with
first
him?
one?
The Sandlot.
Oh my
yeah.
god, yeah, he's the
Yeah.
dad.
He's the dad, yeah.
And he played Captain George
Yeah.
Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man.
That's
Mhm.
what I just said.
You said
and I
that.
thought he was Kevin
Pragpro
Bacon.
is just
And
completely
he played
tuned out.
Francis
He's
the
not
Ladybug
even-
in
he's-
Bug's
He's
Life.
not even listening to his
He's
other
just repeating everything.
colleagues.
And you know
Well,
what?
you
He
didn't talk
reminds me
about
of
Francis
Bill
the
Burr.
Ladybug.
Holy
He didn't
shit.
even watch the movie. He doesn't remember
My
the piss.
God.
Do I have
Jesus,
time to
can't
watch the
deal with
movie
this.
still?
Yeah,
Man. God, those fucking noodles.
probably
So why
love
hasn't
it.
he worked? Why hasn't he
The
worked
thing
recently?
is Time doesn't like any movie. But Prag, he might like it if you watched it. Maybe we'll see.
We're on a
Maybe I
3-week
watched it.
streak
I
of
watched it
bad
in
movies.
2 sessions. I thought maybe the first time I was just in a bad mood,
You
so I
did
said I'll
not,
turn it
anyway.
off and then I'll start watching it tomorrow. I swear to God, I wanted to like this movie. I really
There
did.
we
I'm
go.
not lying
There
to
we go.
you.
You watched it in 2 pieces. Like you can't get into a
I kept
vibe
getting
of a
interrupted.
movie
That's
watching
why it
2
took me
I
3
was in a
hours.
bad vibe the first time because I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I had to come back to it.
See, Lance, they do not understand the cinematic experience.
Lance
They do
didn't
not
say it was
understand-
funny.
You gotta
Look,
block off.
Time out.
2
Time out. You think Lance agrees with you, but he's just not saying
Yes.
anything.
No, Lance agrees.
No,
with
he
me.
has not agreed with you once.
With what?
Everything.
The funniness level. What is the funniness level of this? I
He's
mean, 1 to 10.
kowtowing to you guys. He's using.
I-
he's
Yeah,
getting
because he
peer
works for
pressured.
me.
I think there are certain scenes in this that are very funny, like the stair scene. I think that is hilarious. I think that's a great scene.
Anytime
Okay.
Dennis Leary's on the phone.
Do you know what
I think-
hilarious means, though, right? That means you're like falling and you're like,
I was
you
Okay,
can't
laughing.
Pragpro,
breathe.
first of all, you know that has literally never happened to me.
Is this
That
as
has never
funny as
happened to
Step
me.
Brothers?
Well,
That has never happened.
You've
Step
never
Brothers
had
is
Buddy
shit.
make you
I
laugh
can't
so hard
stand
that you
Step
had
Brothers.
milk come out of your nose, or you
Okay,
were like
so
on the
my
floor.
scale
Your
is a little
buddies make you
different.
laugh like that,
My
right?
scale is a little
No
different.
wonder Tom didn't like this. He likes Step Brothers. So.
Yeah, Step Brothers is great.
I'll
Fucking
say
hate
this.
Step Brothers.
Who doesn't like Step Brothers here?
Me. I don't like
JC.
Step Brothers.
KC, you're all fucked up.
See?
You
It's
think
just
our
not funny.
comedy is bad? Your comedy might be fucked up because I
comedy's
fucking
still
sell.
fucked up.
You know,
Actually,
like
I
I'm
will
out.
say this.
I got 4 affiliates.
If you go on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm almost positive the Ref has a better rating than Step Brothers.
What is
I'll
the
check.
rating of? No,
Got
let's
him.
go. I'm
I'm
looking
I'm
right
checking
now.
it.
almost positive it'll have a better rating
damn
than
it.
80%, I think the ref was sitting at. 80 something.
What?
Somebody pull it up
Yeah.
and tell me what it is. Somebody tell me.
Is that
Critics
like
are
a
at
reverse-
74.
74 is not 85.
And then Step Brothers, 54. Get cooked.
What?
That's
Absolute
like
Is that
critics.
true?
Though. Critics don't count.
No. What do the critics say?
know
though?
what they're talking about.
They
Critics
got
know
reviewed.
what they're
Something
talking
bad
about.
happened. Step Brothers is great. Do you
Actually,
like Step
okay.
Brothers, Corey?
Yeah, I do like that. But
Well, yeah,
you
of
want
course.
you want another fun fact is the J.K. Simmons, which by the way, this was his debut film. This was the first
Mr.
movie he was
Potato
in.
Pancake.
Really?
Famous
I didn't know
author
that.
of Harry Potter. Yeah.
Is if you notice in the movie,
I
his
love
name
him. He's
was
great.
Siskel. That was a dig at the
At the critic.
Siskel
critic.
Ebert?
That was an actual
Wow.
dig because the writer, one of his previous movies was panned by him, and so he put a dig in there. Which then Siskel was like, I don't even think that's a dig because all it did was bring up my name multiple times throughout the movie. So, but yeah, that was actually a little dig. At
Whoever
Siskel.
this lady is who wrote
Siskel
it, she
review
didn't
this
write
movie?
anything else after this. And if it was a banger, JC, she would be writing constantly. They would constantly be telling her to make this and fix that and do this.
Dog, Lauryn
They stopped
Hill
calling her.
released one album.
She's a
It's one of
schizophrenic.
and it's the greatest album of all time.
It is
Jesus,
not the greatest
This is
album of
not
all
the
time.
great. This
It
is
is
not
one of
Lauryn
the
Hill.
greatest albums of all
It is
time.
not even
Time out. Do not compare my lady to Lauryn Hill. That is not fair to anybody, right? And I don't know.
Get out of here.
Maybe the
It's a great album. Not in top 100 of all time.
It's a-
Not even
she's-
close.
Top 10.
Not
top
even
10.
close. Not even close.
Absolutely it is.
No.
Get out of here. Unbelievable.
I do think that Time's opinion of this movie is what most people would probably feel.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
everybody,
a lot
that's
of
why.
people would walk away.
Do we want to see some clips from this, like
That's
we
why
did
we
with French
have
Connection?
Every man, dum dum. That's me. That's my
You're
role
gonna
on this
Fre-
fucking.
You're gonna put French Connection.
What are you
on?
talking about? That's what you tell yourself. Nobody thinks you're a dum dum. That's
I
ridiculous.
am a dum dum.
Well, you only tell yourself that.
Lance tells me that all the time.
Well, I
He
say
does
that
in
to
chat.
everybody.
He says it's clipped a
I see.
million times. He says it all the
I say
time.
that to everybody.
I think Herman J. Mankiewicz wrote one screenplay. He wrote Citizen Kane and then dipped. I'm pretty sure that's true as well. Am I wrong? I think he wrote a lot of like TV and stuff before that, but then he wrote
Again, she is
Citizen
not
Kane.
that.
Okay, you know
She
what?
is just
I'm
not
just
that.
saying, it's a good comparison. Like you can't make that comparison. You can't just say,
I
"Oh,
don't
she
know.
made
I
one."
think
That
he's
means
all
she's
pissed
shit.
off.
They never
Can't
called
say
her
that.
back anymore.
Get out of here.
They didn't call her back, my guy. I'm
You're
sorry,
so
but they
wrong.
didn't.
So wrong. This is crazy. I hate that even Lance is like agreeing with you guys. And this is a great trailer.
Well, Lance
this is a
is my guy,
fantastic
right?
trailer.
I mean, I'm not even like I said, I like the movie. I think the the writing is good. I think it's a great character study film. I think the scenes between the characters are great. You know, they play off each other well.
Why do you
I
think it's
can
a character study?
Huh?
Like the French Connection is a character study. Like that's all about
it's a
Popeye Doyle.
breakdown of a
Is it-
dysfunctional family.
which
of
character is it
couple-
about?
Of
Because-
the couple that their marriage is
The
falling
two
apart.
couples, yeah. The
Character
couple.
story. Like a character story is usually about one character.
No.
That's a character
Yeah.
study of a marriage. You can say that.
Okay, it's a study of the marriage, or is it a
Yeah,
study?
it's a good one. And
Okay.
every
Alright,
time
I'll
he was
allow
on the
it.
phone, I was losing my shit. I thought Dennis Leary delivered every line just absolutely
Are
hilarious.
you going to be a Dennis Leary head? You got to watch Rescue
Yeah.
Me then, JC. You're going to fall in love with it because he's really good
probably
at
will.
that. I don't know what
probably will,
Time is
yeah.
saying about that. Why don't you like Rescue Me Time?
I've never seen it. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay,
Making
well, that's
shit
fair.
up.
Did
That's just
do you
fair.
know any behind the scenes info about this movie? Because it seemed like when that scene when he was on the phone and he like hit the thing and all the pots came down, it looked like he was genuinely surprised that everything
There
came
are
down at
a
one time.
couple of scenes like that in the movie. There's
Yeah.
that, and then when the wife throws the dip on the table and the dip splashes on the guy,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can see Kevin Spacey almost like cracking that. I feel like the dip wasn't supposed to go all over
Okay,
him.
yeah.
So I think there's a couple scenes like that where they just kind of played through it. But again, nobody talks about this movie, so it's so tough to get
Yeah.
info on it.
Why do you
Well,
think that
apparently
is? It's such a banger, JC. Why does nobody talk about this?
It was a
Well,
box
apparently it's-
office flop. It was a
It was a
box
flop. It
office
was
flop.
called The
Which
Ref.
part of that is because
the
it came out.
name. Okay.
It came out in March. It was a Christmas movie they released in March.
That is
Mm.
awful. Oh my god.
What? Really?
Dude, the
Yeah, they
marketing.
released it in March.
Fuck this movie so bad. Holy
It's the
shit.
marketing.
It has become a cult movie according to Wikipedia. And it's got 2 references to that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it had a $12 million budget, and then I think in the box office it made $11 million, so it didn't make its money back, but it did well on video. It kind of, it's been getting.
I did look up the Ref movie sucks on Google.
Good.
And you know what? I found like 5 Reddit threads, and not one of them said it sucked. It was all like, "This is an underrated movie. This
Yes,
is
and it
classic."
is.
I saw all that stuff.
It is.
I was like, "Man, that's a lot of wrong people on the internet. That's crazy."
Hey, Matt Teabagger, how you doing?
Yeah.
He said Lauryn Hill made her name with the Fugees before dropping her
See,
album.
now we're going to
That's
fight
true.
about Lauryn Hill. I don't even know why you brought up Lauryn Hill. That has nothing to do with writing
Did you-
a film.
I was just making a comparison to you saying
Okay.
she made one and then dipped. That's the
So
same
they
thing.
tied this man up like this, and then later on he says, "This is my friend, and I help my friends and let them
Because
escape."
they did.
And
Because they
that's funny.
did.
And like
Yeah,
when the
it's
candles,
hilarious.
you like when they had the
It's
ring of
sweet.
candles on their head. Were you like
And that was
busting
so
up?
good.
Well, you
That
love the
was
candles,
so
right?
good.
Yeah, you love that
I
shit.
love the candles.
not
That was
funny.
so good.
See, this makes
It
me
was
question
hilarious.
everything. This question makes
Yeah,
me question
yeah.
my comedy because you think
It was
I'm funny, and if
hilarious.
you think I'm funny and you think this is funny,
it's
then what
It
the
was
fuck's
offensive
the
to me.
problem in
situational
these
comedy,
streets?
like situational comedy. Like her cooking's really bad, and then she makes the family come over and wear candles on their heads. It's fucking hilarious.
That's crazy.
She's a mess. She's a
Yeah,
mess.
but
It's a character comedy.
It's like it's one of those scenes where they go, "Okay, this is meant to be funny, audience. Look at the wacky, zany candles." It's just like it hits you over the head. It's like too obvious. There has to be some subtlety for comedy, right? Because it's like, oh, it's a silly hat, right?
Someone wasn't in the Christmas spirit when they watched this. I'll tell you that right now.
big time.
Listen, I'm trying to be respectful to this. I said a lot of things I like. I love how they shot this. I love the lighting in this movie, right? Because it's so
very
well
well.
lit. The characters are beautifully, the makeup is perfect. Like everything looks beautiful in this. And the only thing that I don't like about this is the script. I like the performances. I like the direction. I like all the costumes. And
Well, that's funny because the script was my favorite part. I thought the script was the strongest element.
Sometimes
of
we
this film.
disagree. You didn't like Grizzly Man. And Grizzly Man is a fucking Oscar.
Are you going to bring up
nominee.
Grizzly Man every single
Every
fucking time?
episode
Where
until
to
I
go?
feel right about it
Always.
again. Until I feel good about myself again.
Yeah, look.
So does
You
everyone here
also like
enjoy
Treasure
Christmas?
Planet,
I mean,
yeah.
aside from Lance, does
I
everyone
love
enjoy
Christmas.
Christmas?
I'm making a fucking holiday show. I better like it.
I love Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm wearing
I
antlers.
love it. I love working because you only get to work in this milieu once a year. You only get to work with like the holly and the jolly and the characters and the fuzzies and the warm fuzzies and the family issues and all this. It's like a one time of year where that's okay to like talk about all these
No, no,
things.
Dude,
no,
I
no.
wear a Santa hat to work. I love it.
That's crazy.
It's amazing. It's the
crazy.
most magical
You do
time
not
of the
wear
year.
a Santa hat to work.
I do. I do.
Do you wear a
always
Patch
around
Adams
this time,
nose on
I
Patch Adams
have
Day?
intercourse with Mariah Carey.
What?
Wow, Lance. Wow. That's a
What
big
did you say
thing
about
to
Mariah?
just admit.
What
Big
did you
thing to just
say?
admit right there.
We don't say that. We don't say things like that here.
What?
What if Mariah wants to come on the show and you make her feel unsafe?
Yeah,
That
you
was
just made
great.
Mariah feel
Gag your
unsafe.
grandmother. It was hilarious. Every single line in this movie had me, like nearly every single line, except for when it got serious. It was great. I don't understand. I don't. You guys must.
I
have
know
watched
you
a
don't
different movie.
understand.
You
Wait,
guys
I know you
must have
don't
watched a
You had that
different
understand.
movie.
I
line
didn't
that,
like Leslie Vernon either, but most of the time we like the same
Leslie Vernon
movies.
was a
So
banger.
sometimes we disagree. That's all.
Leslie
Leslie
Vernon
Vernon
was
was
a
a banger.
banger.
He
Did you end up watching
Vernon was
Leslie
not
Vernon?
a banger.
Lance?
Have you seen that one, Corey, from
I don't know what
Spaghetti?
the hell that is.
Did you watch
No.
it after we
You talk
reviewed
about
it?
Behind the Mask?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen that. Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
What'd you
Pretty
think?
good, wasn't it?
No, don't
I
give
don't like
it
slasher
yet.
movies.
It's
I
really
don't
good.
like
Oh my
slasher
God.
movies.
Oh, it's pretty good, isn't it? You just have to
Yeah,
ask his
but-
opinion. You're adulterating it.
But it tore slasher movies apart. You should love that.
Now I'm just not into those.
It wasn't
types of
funny.
films. I just.
It was a character study on slasher films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
It was
and I
cinema
didn't-
verite.
I just wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It was the opposite of cinema verite.
Was this cinema
It was-
verite?
No.
This was
God damn
not
it.
cinema
God
verite.
damn it.
It's a
Definitely not cinema
mockudrama.
verite.
It's a mockudrama. Like this is Spinal Tap or Waiting for Guffman.
No, we're talking.
Or
No.
Best in
He's
Show.
asking. He's asking about the ref, Prague.
It was the Ref, yeah.
Cinema verite.
The Ref? No, the
Yeah.
Ref is
No.
a fucking stage play. This is like
Yeah.
something that they would have made in the 40s with Spencer Tracy, right? Which is a classic. Like there's so many great movies like this. Like La
And this
Cage aux
is one of
Folles.
them.
No, La Cage aux Folles is a great romp. This is not.
This was
Right?
great.
The
This is
Birdcage
up
This
there.
with
isn't in
Robin
black and
Williams.
white.
No,
You
I'm
would've
just
loved it if
telling
it
you,
came
there's
out 50
better
years earlier.
versions of this type of movie, funnier versions of slapstick madcap romp, and I just I wanted to like it.
There were little things
okay.
about this movie that I like. Like I said, I like some of the jokes, but even this scene right here that I like a little bit is like, oh, you have any cigarettes? No, I don't smoke. And she stopped smoking, and he's like, I know how that is. And then he like basically just asked her like,
Where are the cigarettes?
yeah, where the cigarettes?
You don't
at,
find her
you know?
overacting at this point? Look at her face.
Nope.
She's like acting.
I didn't think she
like,
was acting
It's
enough.
great.
She's acting.
No.
There's so much
She did a
acting.
great
All the
job.
facial
It's
stuff is
fantastic.
pure acting. I know.
She was putting so much into something that is a Christmas movie. I think
I understand.
they really respected the material. I feel like big time. And
I'm
I feel like
watching
they were
them.
having so much fun making this because I was having fun watching it.
Yeah, again, I think
I know.
Dennis Leary afterwards said that he thought the co-stars in this were great to work with, and yeah. It's the type of movie I want to make one day, and now I feel like I'm going to make a movie, and Prag's not going to like it.
Richard Grannies, who co-wrote the film with his sister-in-law, here's a quote from him. He said, both Marie and I are Italian Catholics who married into Jewish families, so we do have those big holiday dinners. Wouldn't it be great if there was a third party to step in and referee? That's essentially
Let me explain something to you. Maybe why? Because the bickering and the stuff we saw in this film is very common in my family. This is very, 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 very. But they drop bangers. They are funny.
They drop bangers in this film.
No. There's levels to it. Like I don't know if you've ever seen the East Coast family squabble.
There are some quotables, yeah.
Okay, like what? Quote one.
Well, I've only watched it once. You can't compare it to Home Alone, which I watched 20.
All right. Well, I mean, just remind me of a funny scene. It's like I feel like it could have been a lot funnier if the producers I feel like the studio probably adulterated some of the jokes and like calmed them down a little bit.
So they revised the script, like he said. So the guy who was the brother-in-law, he revised it like 10 times over the course of a year, and then he finally put in what he considered his final script, and he walked away. He said, "I'm done. I'm not dealing with it anymore." So he was off and away from it, and the studio was just stuck with the script. And then Dennis Leary came across and he said, "Hey, I like this script." And when Dennis Leary said he wanted it, that writer came back on board because he said, "Okay, we're going to finally move forward with this." But yeah, he revised
Dennis Leary doctored the script too. Like there's a lot of stuff that Dennis Leary would say in this. Like I feel like he wrote a lot of his own lines. Like especially at the end when they're driving away with the boat, he has that little mini monologue.
Again, that was all reshot last minute, so that was probably like all Dennis Leary.
But it was funny. It was funny. Like
yeah,
even the ending, like the final shot, I was like, "That's hilarious."
Because they kind of screwed Dennis over. He said he was pissed about the marketing because he took on this movie because he wanted to get away from his brash like MTV persona. And then when they took this movie on, they ended up marketing it with his MTV persona, and he did all the commercials.
He plays his MTV persona in the movie. He's the same way during the MTV era in this movie. Exactly.
But he's also lovable. Yeah.
To a point. I think he's a little bit more tame in this. There's a lot of scenes where he just lets the other stars do their thing, whereas
he was so good with the family stuff that probably led him to Rescue Me. Right, because he was good in the family context, and when they started talking about the details of why the relationship,
and I love that he noticed stuff. I love that you see him like the gears turning in his head as he's finding more out about this family, and you realize he actually starts caring about them, and I think it's well maintained, like the way it all progresses, the way his character arc progresses. Like his character arc is basically just starting to care about this family, and it's great. I think they write it well.
Why the fuck would he care about this family? He's a jewel thief.
What do you mean? You
watch
the movie.
Sense.
He connects with.
You
the
literally.
I still don't understand why these three people give a fuck about each other. He's tying them up. He's got the kids. He's pointing a gun at your child. And then it's like, oh, now after an hour.
But then they realize he's a human being. They realize he's had it tough. He literally happens.
I think that was the goal, but they didn't get there for me.
What do you mean? They
didn't. For me, I didn't see the relationship as validated and real. I felt that it was like, I was like surprised at the end when Kevin Spacey's like, oh, yeah, that's my buddy. We got to make sure he gets out of here.
I was not surprised. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I thought, they really built up to it.
Kevin Spacey should have betrayed him, and there should have been a trap in the fucking back.
Get out of here. He fixed their marriage. My God, dude! Like, listen, we've had disagreements on this show before, Bragg. but
Have I
I've
what?
never disagreed more. Like, I disagreed with you on like this show a lot before,
Yeah.
but I've never disagreed
We
with
got
you
into a
more
big
than
blowout
with this.
about something like when we all movies have meanings. Oh,
Big
that was
blowout.
was that not the Raid? Which movie was that we had that
Treasure
argument?
Planet.
No.
Could you imagine
It was
having a big
recently.
blowout
It was
over
like 2 or
Treasure
3
Island?
episodes.
Holy shit! That's when you just gotta shut shit down at that point.
No, this is part.
Man.
Listen, we can't have a show where we all sit here and agree because that's not a show. You have to have
I
a
certainly
little
don't agree with you.
vinegar,
No, I
and you have to have a
certainly
little
don't.
salt and
No, I
pepper on the
certainly
sandwich.
don't.
And I
feel
still
like
love
you're not
you, JC,
defending
no
your
matter
film
what.
enough, Lance. I feel like you need to defend your film hard. I feel like I'm defending it
It's
for
not
you.
his film. We don't pick movies that we have
He
to
picked
defend. We
his
pick
film.
movies we want to watch.
Yeah.
Well,
All right,
look,
go
here's
ahead.
the thing. Again, I don't think it's a perfect film. There's a lot.
No, I
there's
don't
some,
think it's perfect either.
you know, there's some things, some issues I take with the ending.
Yeah.
I enjoy the ending for what it is, but I did also think it was a little bit abrupt that they would just want to help him out. So I looked into it, and again, you know, they had a whole other ending that they shot, and the studio scrapped it. So it's like, all right, whatever. That's Hollywood, baby. You know, what are you gonna do?
That's his
But
new
yeah,
line. He goes, "Everything Hollywood, baby."
Hollywood,
that's,
baby.
but like, you know, stuff like that. There's nothing you can do. Dennis Leary, the director, they walked away from it saying, "Yeah, we wish we could have had our original." And it's, you know, it's fucked.
What
And
was great about this movie is the technicals. Like the sound mix was great. The music was correctly
music
mixed.
was
The lighting
fantastic.
was beautiful. Like, so as a director, did you appreciate the technical merits?
Yeah,
of
again, I
this?
think it's a very warm, cozy film. Like if I were to shoot an interior movie like that, where it's just like a stage play, I would love to shoot it like that. That looked great. That's the
I
lighting.
would
I'm
be
looking
very
for,
proud of the way
instead
it
being
looked.
hidden in the fucking dark half the time.
I love the way it looks. I love the way it
Yeah.
looks. It reminds me a lot of who's that famous director of A Breakfast Club? Jonathan. What's his fucking name? He made all
Steven
those
Spielberg.
teen films in the
Okay, John
80s, A
Hughes.
Breakfast Club.
John
and-
Hughes.
John Hughes.
Hmm.
It had a very John Hughes warmth to it, it seemed.
Chris
felt
Columbus
like-
as well. Like
Chris Columbus. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a shout. It definitely goes into that vein.
Who's fallen off recently, but yeah, back in the day, made
Well,
very
you know,
warm
get old.
films like this.
You might.
Yeah. So time. Would you
Time's the only one who's right.
recommend? Would you recommend The Ref, and what would you rate it?
Oh man, see, it's so hard because there were okay parts of this movie, but I don't think it was enough. So no, I wouldn't recommend this movie, and I would rate it 58.
That's a very
Yeah.
precise
Yeah,
number.
it's out of 57 or 59. Doesn't get
Yeah.
to 60. So
Yeah. Well, okay. If you say so. Prag,
Yes,
would
I-
you recommend The Ref?
I would,
would
if
you
you're
rate it?
sitting bedside by someone who's experiencing a coma, maybe they were in a motorcycle accident over the holidays, and you don't want something too interesting and you don't want to get distracted too much because the nurse is coming in and out, The Ref is for you. And watch it without the audio on. Just observe the visuals.
Fuck.
Just
Man,
joking.
you're out of your mind.
Listen,
Awful.
all right,
You're
let
out
me
of your
sum up
mind.
what I feel about this film. The technicals were great. The acting was great. I'm not a Judy Davis head, but that's okay. I appreciate her. She was, you know, I feel like this might have been her first comedy. I like Dennis Leary in general. I like the direction. I like the music. I was interested by the two cops. I thought they were funny. The guy with the glasses was funny, and he didn't say much. He just made funny faces, and so I appreciated that. I just didn't think the script lived up to the other sum of the parts. It didn't make me laugh as much as I wanted to, and I was like really wanting to laugh.
Well, maybe
So
that's your
I-
problem. You were too uptight. You're like, I want to
I'm
laugh.
sorry.
I want to laugh.
I'm
instead
giving
of
my
just-
final
Tense
summation.
the whole time.
Made my
God.
final. This is the part of the trial when the judge reads the decision, JC. Right?
Okay.
You can appeal, but I give this movie. I think this is a good movie for your family. If you're not going to offend anybody, and it's going to give you the same vibes. You know, if you have a bickering family, and you're going to see a lot of things that you notice. I do notice there's a lot of movies that do that bickering family better. I give this movie a 72.
Yeah. Well, so
and
so
I would
what
recommend
movies,
it too for a family.
What movies would you recommend in its place then with bickering families?
Christmas Vacation has a bickering family.
Okay.
That's
A Christmas Story has a wonderful bickering family. Right? Those are two right there.
Yeah, but I feel like that's again though, that is a Christmas movie. I feel like this is almost like a
See?
they're
See?
trying to
Admitting it,
portray this
not
as like an
Christmas movie.
anti-Christmas movie. You
Well,
know,
this-
that's the
I
way
mean,
they
if we
want
just
to
talk about.
represent it.
I mean, there's so many great stories with bickering couples in it.
See,
Right?
not
Like
a
The
Christmas movie.
Sopranos
Not
is a
true
wonderful
Christmas movie.
bickering couple. The best way to watch a bickering couple is through like a gangster movie, like Goodfellas has a wonderful bickering couple in
Ooh,
it.
you know what? That
Karen.
Imagine this
You know
type
what I'm
of
saying?
movie Have this
Yeah.
type of movie about a bickering family, but it's a mafia family. And the father, he's about to get, there's like, you know what? There's a whole plot
They did
line
that
I could
already.
write down for this. With
Yes.
what? That's not.
They
That's
did
a
that
show.
already again. Corky Romano.
Pritzi's Honor.
It's been done
That's
a million
not-
times.
Corky Romano. That's a Christmas movie?
Corky Romano is
It can be
terrible.
if you want to. It's a good movie.
Corky Romano
Oh my
is?
Yeah.
god!
I like Chris Kattan,
Yeah,
but I
it's
don't
funny.
like Corky Romano.
Well, you're a crazy person.
Well,
Crazy enough
so
to
Lance,
kiss you.
since you
Think
picked
about
this
that.
movie, this is gonna be interesting. Would you recommend The Ref, and what would you rate it?
Oh, God.
Don't
Well,
recommend
obviously, I'd recommend it.
it. Ah, boo. Boo.
Obviously, I would
Recommend it
recommend
to
this
us.
movie.
I did.
Yeah, again, I think it's a well-written movie. I think Pragpro's complaint about the lack of jokes, I wouldn't agree with it. I do understand
What's
why
your favorite
people
three favorite jokes from this movie?
love the interaction of the steps. So, like, when the grandmother's like, I
Okay.
want to take my shoes off, and he's like, we'll have a bohemian Christmas. We'll do, like, he's being so
Yeah.
fucking
That
crazy on
was
that.
funny.
Okay.
That was
I thought
funny.
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought that
funny.
was funny.
That's the Kaja fall, but go ahead.
Yeah, I thought that was a great scene. I love that scene. You know, stuff like that. I'm not looking for something.
I like when he fell down from the safe when the cat pee got in his eye and he fell down the slide. That
See,
was funny.
I gotta
You
be
wanted
honest.
Home Alone.
That is probably my least favorite scene because it was so
And I
cartoony.
agree. Yeah,
It was like
agree.
Looney Tunes. I didn't
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
like it was like Scooby Doo too.
Yeah, see
Monsters
that I
Unleashed.
didn't like. So I think we wanted different things out of this. I think that's all it was.
Do you have a score?
I would probably again, it's a good holiday film. I give it 3 out of 5 stars.
No,
That's
that's
not-
not
that's
one
not
out of
great.
100. 1 to
What
100.
about
Out of 100?
What, you
One to
guys
100.
are out of your minds.
3
It's
to
all-
5
okay,
is
so
One
what's-
out of 100.
That's a
yeah,
60.
Give it a
You just gave it a
60.
60.
It's a 66.
Okay, I gave it a
66?
72. JC, I
So
accept your
Pragpro likes
apology.
it better.
Yeah, I accept your apology.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Frank. I love this film. I think you're all wild. I think you're crazy. I like this. I think I laughed during this film more than I laughed watching Home Alone. I think it's a better written film than
Wow.
Home Alone.
That's fucking fake news.
Yeah,
That
it's
is-
a
that
big-
is-
The
And I
ending
am
of Home Alone with
probably-
all the great slapstick stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Is banger.
I think
Okay,
I think
okay,
Dennis
okay.
Leary. I think Dennis Leary did an incredible job.
Okay, we got a Leary
And
head in the house.
I'm probably gonna watch it again next year. I
Watch it
love the
tonight.
way that. I love the way the
Watch it
film
again tonight. Watch right
portrays
now.
the police department is completely incompetent. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I loved all of it.
They
What
weren't
was the
incompetent.
role of
They
the
just
drunk
didn't know. They
Santa,
weren't used
though?
to
I
that
don't
kind of
understand why-
stuff.
I don't understand why Drunk Santa was in it.
Well,
Actually,
it's
you
all
wanna know
about-
something?
It's all about like peeling behind the Christmas facade, like the happy Christmas
Okay.
facade. So you
Yeah,
have
that
the
is
drunk
it. But
Santa.
you want to know another scene I love is when he gets kicked out and he's pissing against the bush. And he's like,
Yes!
it is-
And the
again,
steam.
that,
When
yeah,
the steam comes
that was
up,
great.
It's
That was
hilarious.
a great scene. That was perfect.
I also
Do you
love
think
the
that was
scene where
real
he
piss or
tells the
stunt
kid
piss?
I thought that
that
scene
he's
was
not,
like fucking too on the nose.
and where he like goes up to
I'm
the kid
just
and it's like
subtle.
I'm not drinking any more fucking milk tonight, and then he pulls down his beard and just drinks the champagne. It's
Santa's
great.
pretty
It's so
lactose
good.
tolerant right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It was.
And
it
I
had
also
some good-
love
Right.
Raymond J. Barry. I just love him because he was in
He was funny.
Justified. He's fantastic in
rough guy.
Justified, and he's great
R.I.P.
in this. Yeah, and that's actually probably my biggest complaint is that whole plot line with the police department just ends like straight away. Like I
Right.
feel like
I
there
like
was
those
more
guys. They were
Again,
to
funny.
be there.
We were supposed to have like a wrap up with them arresting
with
Gus
them
and having,
arresting-
and it's
yeah.
and it's like
Yeah,
we
that's
didn't.
This
my
should have
get
been
biggest
called
is
The Ref the
that plotline.
miniseries. Right? And if they made it into a miniseries, they could have extended some of the scenes.
I
If
would
this
Talk
was-
to Amazon Prime and we can
They
recut
should have
it.
did it like the show 24, where they did it real time, actual
yeah.
hours. I would have loved that.
That
we
would've
could have
been
spent the
funny.
real night. Oh,
That's funny.
So if
If
this
you
was
just put that
released in
timer up
Christmas,
and-
if this was
Huh?
released in Christmas and it was called something else, like the Christmas Thief or something,
What would you call it?
The Christmas Thief, probably. If
The
I was
Christmas
a marketing,
Thief.
if I was a marketing
Right.
department, I would call
Time
it.
Goes to Waste.
probably
What are
the
you going to call
Christmas
this movie?
Dennis Leary's Scary House of Amusement.
Thief.
I love that. Lance from Saints, what are we renaming the ref to market it at Christmas?
Right.
Jesus, I don't know. Slicked hair all around. The kid had
Ooh.
slicked hair. Dennis Leary had slicked hair.
Yeah,
Kevin
yeah.
Spacey had a toupee.
He did.
He had a toupee. That thing was on strong too. You see him swing his
Yeah.
head around in a few scenes. That was sucker was strapped on.
And I think I'm going to watch it again next year, and I'd probably recommend it to everyone. I hope more people watch it.
Are you
Mm.
going to give it a
Wasn't named the
fucking
ref-
90 or something
I was
crazy
going to give it.
right now?
I was going to give it an 80. I think it's an
Oof.
80. It's
Oh,
an
okay.
80 out of 100.
Oof.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah.
I'm glad everyone enjoyed it.
I'm glad one person enjoyed it.
I always have fun watching. JC, even if I don't like something, I have fun reviewing it. You know what I'm saying? That's not important. And you know what? Nobody gives a fuck what I think, and that should be good, right? And it's like, so that way we're free to speak.
I give a fuck
honestly.
what you think. I give a fuck what you think.
I care too. What you think?
Who cares?
I honestly don't care.
Listen, try to. This is the way I approach criticism: is which way could we make it better? Not it's shit. Not that it's. I hate people who just are just shitting on things. And it's like, how could I? If I could help, how could I help it?
You know what scene I found aggravating? There's one other scene that I had a problem with is when he was the fire alarm was going off and he stepped on the. That was perfect. He stepped on the chair. Yeah. He could have dropped the gun right there and the kid took it. I don't know why they felt the need for him to get up and then fall a second time and then drop the gun again. It was like, you could have just did it that have him get up and do it again.
Yeah,
triple slapstick.
That was the only thing
I
did.
When he stepped through the chair, the straw chair.
That was perfect. And then they had him get up again. And I'm like,
and then he shoots the fire alarm, of course.
Yeah. I wanted to get that off my
chest.
It was two separate takes and they forgot to take one of them out.
Yeah, the editors.
Maybe.
So, thank you so much for coming on the pod, Lance. I'm glad we talked about this film. This is a classic of yours. I'm glad I enjoyed it.
Do you think you can be here again this month?
This month? I know I can't next week.
Do you have another Christmas movie you could maybe put on?
I mean, there's lots
Any
of
type
Christmas
of movie
movies.
he wants, you know? It doesn't have to be a Christmas movie.
I should be
but
able
it can
to
be.
21st. I don't have anything
Well,
on
that's
my
good.
calendar, so let me double check on that. I'll put me in as a highly possible.
A hard
And
maybe.
if you can't make
Highly
it, we'll just make the
possible.
show and we'll we don't need a guest that night. And if you come up with a movie, let us know. And the sooner the better.
Awesome.
What are we doing next week on this
next
show?
Week, next week is my choice.
Is it going to be the ref again?
No.
Ref part 2.
Not watching the ref again.
You just want to get a deeper dive, shot by shot analysis.
So I've picked a Christmas movie that I've wanted to see ever since it's come out, and I haven't been able to for some reason. I just haven't gotten around to it. And I know it got mixed reviews when it came out, but my boys at Red Letter Media, they loved it. They thought it should have gotten an Oscar for Best Sound Design. And of course, I am talking about Michael Dougherty's Krampus. Have you guys heard of this?
Is that the recent one that came out?
That's the recent one that came out.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about Krampus next week. It's a film I've wanted to see since it's come out, and I hope it's good. I love Adam Scott. Michael Dougherty, I like.
Pretty fly.
Yeah. And I've heard the sound design in this movie is fantastic. At least that's what Red Letter Media says. So we'll see how I feel about it next week. It's a horror movie.
It can't really be an Adam Scott movie if he dies in the first 10 minutes.
He doesn't die in the first 10 minutes.
Does.
No, he doesn't.
I've seen it.
He does not. No, he doesn't. Have you seen Krampus?
And it's on HBO Max.
I know what it is.
It's on HBO Max.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime I have to pay the small $3.75.
It's on Paramount Plus where I'm living, so I
it's
can
on
see
that
it
one. It's
there.
on Hulu.
So I'm very excited to talk about Krampus. Looking forward to it. I hope you guys enjoy it too. We'll see what happens.
I won't be watching it.
Do you have anything else you want to share with the community before we leave, Corey from Lance?
I mean, I don't.
Anything you want to talk about streaming or any tips or?
You going live after this?
It's probably late for him, right? Oh, we have to get that Elvis VOD.
Midnight. Well, it's midnight. You know what? I don't know. Maybe I could. I do have to. I have to be up early tomorrow, but I don't know. I guess I'll have to see.
I'm not doing anything. I'll tune in.
I think JC wants to go stream with you right now. JC, do you want to do a duo stream with Lance and talk about the ref for a couple more hours? Because I love that.
I want to stream. I want to watch it again with Lance.
The ref will do
He watched it last night.
Hey, we had that watch party last night. You know, we had that watch party with the ref. It was great.
I couldn't make it, but
yeah, I get it.
I thought you were a Dennis Leary head, and then you couldn't even make it to the fucking special. You know, Dennis Leary was in the chat for that.
Well, I'm a Dennis Leary head now.
You bring me back for the summer next year, and we'll talk about Judgment Night, another Dennis Leary movie.
Ooh. Summer of next year, you're going to be here on the 21st. You can watch it then if you want.
That's not a
Christmas movie.
And then JC, how about this? We can watch Rescue Me together, and we'd love to review that with you.
Yeah, if you choose it for your week, I'm down.
No, for the TV
Rescue
show.
Me, it's fucking 7 seasons.
Is it a TV show?
It's 7
Yeah.
seasons.
TV
It's
show?
like 300
Well, he
hours.
can work on it. He can work
Okay.
on it, and when he's
Just chip
ready,
away
then
at
I'll
it,
be ready because I've seen it. And you too,
Holy
Time.
shit.
Anybody else who wants to get on the the TV show, we just have to watch the show.
I
and
have
then we'll
Rescue Me in my
review.
Blockbuster area.
Seasons
Well,
is a
you can
lot.
come back for that
That's
one
a
if you want to
lot.
be on the TV show.
Have you started watching The League? No, but I will. I will this week. Mad T-Bag.
I've already seen the League. I've already seen all of it.
I'll
Are you
have
ready
it
to
done by
watch
Friday.
the League?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll have it done by
Friday.
I'll have it done by Friday. Yeah, I'll watch an
League?
episode a day until
Fantasy
then.
football thing?
So you have a week.
I have a week. Yeah.
The week.
Okay,
yeah.
so
watch
all
it.
right, I'll get it in a week, and then we'll schedule it.
So your Thursday, my Friday, I think. Or it's no,
Mine's
it is
Thursday,
your Friday.
what?
It's your Friday. It's your Friday
I don't-
morning, my
well,
Friday
just-
evening. It's all good.
I mean, I
Sort it
think
out.
I understand.
Anyway,
6 days from now.
thank you everyone for joining us on this podcast. This has been a great episode. I'm glad we have Lance on this week. He gave us a banger of a film, at least in my opinion.
I thought so.
And I'll see you all next week for Krampus.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye. Thank you for coming on, Lance.